Dude.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
We got Ben here from the band SunDub from Brooklyn, New York. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, so I got hooked up with you. Ben Travers does some booking for the River Street Jazz Cafe. So shout out to Ben, another Ben.
Another
Um,
band.
yeah, so I'm excited to talk to you about the band. You got a show coming up on October 13th at the Jazz Cafe. Big Friday the 13th show in October. Spooky.
Yeah, indeed. It is a
Spooky.
Friday the 13th show in October.
You
It's as
worried?
spooky as it gets.
Are you worried?
The routing's great, man. We have everything set up to be smooth.
Sweet.
So, no, no
All right.
worries.
Good.
I say, now worry yourself in SunDub.
So, like I said, you guys are from New York. I'm unfamiliar with your band, but I was listening to some tunes, and I uh, I feel like when I'm listening to the band, I should be on a beach with a drink in hand.
Okay.
Like just chilling, having a good
Yes,
time.
definitely.
Is
I
that the
agree
kind
with
of
that.
vibe?
I mean, yeah, we're definitely inspired by the island vibe for sure. The band loves the beach. We love recreating, of course. But yeah, we're a reggae band and we are definitely inspired by that good vibe and try to bring that with our music. And we're very excited to bring that Brooklyn reggae vibe as we do to Plains, Pennsylvania, to the River Street Jazz Cafe.
Now you said a Brooklyn reggae vibe. Is it a different reggae in out of Brooklyn or
I would say Brooklyn definitely has a unique sort of reggae style, if you will. Brooklyn is a unique place. There's a lot of different, energy and stuff going on there. And we have a unique reggae sound, I would say. And the East Coast reggae sound in general has a generally sort of more heavy, I would say harder edge to it, I guess, compared to the California scene on the other side, which is a little more like of the happy, really good vibe, like sunshine kind of reggae. Um,
okay?
I would say if you want to talk about sort of the differences between that, and I'd say that is seen in our music in terms of the Brooklyn vibe. Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever like really thought about there being a difference.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe the scene changes all the time, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Um, but I would say bands like John Brown's Body, and are you familiar with them?
I'm not. No, I mean reggae, I mean I like it for what it is, right? It's
Okay.
like I said to you before, it makes me feel good. Whenever I'm at Secrets in Ocean City, Maryland, that's the vibe. I'm not there
Yeah.
often, but in my younger years. So I don't seek it out per se, but I am a fan.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with
Understood.
everyone involved.
Got you. Well, we have a really unique, I would say, a unique sound, and we're excited to come to Pennsylvania and play at this venue and bring this sound to people and keep expanding our SunDub Nation through the East Coast and beyond. So
This is your first time playing at the Jazz Cafe.
yeah, yeah.
I think you'll do well there. I mean, that's for the longest time, the Jazz Cafe was known for exactly what it sounded like, jazz music, a lot of funk, a lot of jam bands. And I think reggae kind of fits into that
Yep.
kind of category, but all that. Ben and the team there have been doing a better job of kind of expanding the genres of music, but I think to its core, it's still very much a jam band, uh, hangout, you know, place.
Cool.
So I think you'll do well there.
I agree. I'm glad to hear you say that. And there's definitely crossover in terms of the jam band scene and the reggae scene. They're both festival scenes, like bass scenes at this point. So yeah, we're really excited to bring excuse me, bring our show there and bring that unique experience through.
Sweet. Have you ever heard the band Elephants Dancing?
Elephants dancing? No, I have not.
They're like a reggae band out of NEPA,
Okay.
northeastern Pennsylvania. I should check them out
Yeah,
if you have a minute. But
definitely.
talk to me about SunDub. Obviously, we covered that, your reggae band, Brooklyn, New York. But talk to me a little bit about, members of the band,
Yeah,
roles, how you guys got together, all that kind of fun stuff.
definitely. So SunDub is, as you said, a Brooklyn-based reggae band. I'm the drummer of the band. My name is Ben Teeters, for those of you who maybe didn't catch my name in the beginning. Um, I'm the drummer of SunDub, and then my sister, Joanna Teeters, is the lead singer of the band. So it's a family band, family business. And in fact, Joanna's husband, Jose, has recently joined the band on second guitar, and we're very excited about that. Um, and then we have Finnegan Singer on first guitar. We have Eric, the General Toussaint, on keyboards. We have Sydney Mills on keyboards, who also is recent in some ways in terms of how much he's been playing live with us. And now he's fully been playing live with us for the majority of the year. So we're very excited about that. And then to round it out, we have Derek on bass. And that makes up SunDub. And then we actually are lucky enough to even extend beyond that, mostly when we're in New York, because of how blessed we are in terms of the musical community here. We end up having horn players and just more people if we're playing in New York. But yeah, those seven are the core of SunDub at this point. And we all live in Brooklyn. We're all based in Brooklyn, and the band has been performing since 2017, approximately, in this form. We're a nationally touring band at this point. We play in Brooklyn and beyond. And we have two original albums of music out, plus a bunch of other stuff that we've sort of worked on and collaborated with. And yeah, we're here to bring Brooklyn reggae to the world, starting with the River Street Jazz Cafe.
Friday the 13th of
Friday
October.
the 13th. Yeah. So that's the quick SunDub scoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to find enough venues who have a stage to fit all you guys on, or what?
Are we able to find enough venues was the question?
Yeah, with a stage big enough to fit all you guys on.
To fit us.
Yeah,
Usually yeah. Usually yeah.
that's good.
Although New York has like known for its tight spaces, and that's true, but yeah, no, people accommodate us very well, and we're blessed to have an incredible band. The band and the people who I work with are the best. The team is the best. I love everyone who is involved with SunDub. It is amazing. And huge shout out. Also, I have to mention Cadiz, our merchandise extraordinaire, who's a huge part of the project operation, must be mentioned in the same breath as the rest of us. So
Do you guys sell a lot of merch?
merch is our number one revenue stream, I will
Okay.
say. Number one. And that is true of so many independent bands,
Yeah.
all the way up to the top.
I was just talking to
Yeah,
a merch guy that does touring with some bands, and he was talking to me about like venue or management cuts, like merch cuts.
yeah.
That's terrible.
It's been changing actually recently. Live Nation has
I,
announced,
s- I saw that.
there's been some big headlines and some definite like movement in that sector, I guess you could say. So that's really good. And I guess we'll see what ends up happening. But even just the consciousness of everyone, that's the first step into getting that kind of shit.
Well, yeah. So full disclosure, I work full time at a screen printing company. It's called Axelrad Screen Printing.
Awesome.
So I work with a lot of different bands doing
Yeah.
merch for them. Oh yeah, the hat.
Yeah.
um, and I kind of, and especially lately too. I work with bands as far as like, what it costs them, from me, right?
Yeah.
I try to make sure that it's fair for them and it's fair for us, obviously. And then I see them out on tour, knowing what I charge them, and I see the prices that they're charging others. And if you're not in the business, you wouldn't know. But like, if a band's charging 35, $40 for a shirt, people don't know that they're paying to get it printed, but more than that, they're paying a cut to, manager or venue or whatever it might be. So, if you're paying, let's say, just $10 a shirt, and then you're paying, you know, a merch cut at the venue, that shirt could cost you $15.
Yeah.
And I just thought it's been interesting the last year or so to kind of peel back the layers on that, and it
Yeah.
sucks for bands because consumers don't know that, probably, right? So they're like, oh, these guys are just trying to like gouge me with these
Yeah.
this merch. So if
Yeah.
anyone's listening, like, it is not the band's fault if you think they're charging too much for merch.
Amen to that. And it's a huge way that we do make money. So thank you to everyone who does support us in that way. It really goes a long way.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, shout out to what we were just talking about for sure. That's
Yeah.
very important. And, you know, that wouldn't be major if it was more venues that didn't take that cut. So,
Yeah. I hope Live Nation, I have to believe, I don't want to talk shit on Live Nation. I don't know them. I don't know people who work there. I don't know the ins and outs of the business. But I hope that, because I heard it might just be for the rest of the year. So there's only 3 months left of the year, and then they'll kind of kick back in the new year. So it might be like a PR thing. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully that
yeah.
they can kind of continue to support the bands who are touring and coming through their venues and
Yeah.
filling seats and shit like that. But also Live Nation is not a not for profit. I mean, are they going to pass those savings that they're not getting from you to the consumer? Like, are my
Yeah.
fees going to be higher now?
Well,
Hopefully
yeah,
not.
they just do control so much of the industry just on a percentage
Yeah,
basis, like, you know. So already that's sort of out of balance.
yeah. Those fees are killer. Everything's
But
hard, man. Everything's hard.
yeah, a lot of stuff's all about out of balance if you want to talk about the industry and how much people are getting paid and money taken and blah blah blah. Like, you know,
Not even
that
just the
that,
industry. Yeah, you
yeah,
guys
that
are
also,
traveling. You got to pay for gas. You got to
yeah.
eat on the road. Everything is out of
Yeah, well,
control.
and then you look at like Spotify and they pay you 0.000 fraction of a penny, nothing of a per million. You need a billion streams to like buy a cheeseburger and like, this kind of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But what
Because
do? We go out,
yeah,
we
go
play at the
out
River Street Jazz Cafe and
on
we
Friday
say,
the 13th,
come
spooky
out,
season.
and like support us, buy merch, and we're super excited. We really believe in our product and our music, and let's go. We'll take these challenges on and SunDub, let's go.
Good vibes, good times, good
Yeah, man.
merch, good shit, right? Good shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It means a lot to people. It means a lot to us.
Now, do you, as far as merch goes, it sounds like you said it's your number one revenue stream. Do you have like a dedicated like designer who designs your merch? It's you. Okay. So I've seen a lot of that. Like a lot of, back in the day, all bands had to do was worry about performing. Now bands are, doing their own social media, they're designing their own merch, they're doing X, Y, and Z. So you're the
Yeah.
designer,
I mean, somebody has to, and usually that somebody's going to be you or should be you until you can really get other people who can really do it for you and it makes sense. But yeah.
I assume from an artistic point of view, you probably enjoyed that part of it though.
I've been honestly doing this like for most of my life, if you look at it. Like I've been a musician. I was raised playing music and actually by artists. My dad is an artist and musician, and I've been messing around with this stuff forever, pretty much. And it's evolved into my business fully. And I do really enjoy it. You know,
Are you a full-time musician?
I'm a full-time musician. I teach, I tour, I I do this other stuff on the side in terms of the management of the band and the graphic design and the social media, like you said, and the merchandise worlds, all that,
That's awesome.
and keep it running. And yeah, I love it. I love all of it. And it's a lot of work too, because there's a lot of different
Of course.
facets of things that are moving. But like I said, also the team is the people that I have on the SunDub team are really great. And we all really believe in what we're doing. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And you said it's a kind of a family. Bands in general are typically family, if not, if they're
Yeah.
not blood, they're family. But you legit have your sister, you said, and then your sister's husband's also in the band.
Yeah.
I mean, being in a band is hard enough. I mean, is there any inner
Yeah.
turmoil because there's actually like relationships in there?
I mean, it's of course there's dynamic relationship dynamics of the whole thing. Like it's seven people working together, number one. But in terms of my sister and that aspect of it, it's great. Luckily, we have a good relationship and we want to do something that's together and that we can have like build together as a family.
Hmm.
Like I said, our dad is a musician too. Like it is really a family band. It's for us, it's for our livelihood, it's for their livelihood, it's for everyone that's involved. You know what I mean? So we're both very happy to have that opportunity to build that family business.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it is great.
It's probably pretty neat too, just to be like that close. I make the joke that it's hard to work with family. You got to get in fights and all that kind of stuff. But like,
Yeah,
not everyone's that close with their family. I
yeah,
have two brothers who I don't
totally.
see as much as I should. I don't talk to as much as I should. All that kind of shit. So
Yeah,
that's cool that you guys can have the business, have the band, but like also just spend that quality time together.
yeah, it's really cool. And the fact that right now we're doing that and we all live in Brooklyn as well, it's a unique thing. And I recognize that this moment in time isn't going to last forever. And the fact that we have the band and we're in Brooklyn right now, this is really something it's a really great experience. And the trajectory is long as well for this project and the sort of vision and stability behind it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said you started in 2017. You made it through a
Yeah.
pandemic, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if that didn't stop you, what will?
Yeah, it was so funny because that was right sort of as we were making that conscious decision to break out of New York, if you will, and
Hmm.
say, okay, we're going to stop being like a local band and start to do the touring nationally thing, which is tough when it's like, no, COVID. But yeah, you're exactly right. That was a big challenge. And now we go to the next thing.
Yeah. Oh, well, hopefully there's no more of those things to worry about for
Yeah.
a long time. But you said that was kind of the point where you're like, let's leave Brooklyn. Let's be more than a Brooklyn band. Like,
Yeah.
how do you know? How does that like as a musician as a band? How do you know? Hey, you know what? It's time for us to really pursue
Yeah.
our new opportunities.
I would say for this band, it really so SunDub started as a local reggae jam session, basically. We're getting together with, myself and my sister and close friends who are musicians, getting together on Thursdays at this local bar and doing a reggae jam session, basically playing covers. That quickly evolved into like the current sort of beginning of what SunDub is now in terms of the lineup of who's in the band. So myself, my sister, um, keyboard player, guitarist. So that just sort of happened naturally. And then after a while, we said, okay, this is great. We enjoy playing together. Excuse me. We should probably record some original music. And so we recorded our first album in 2019, recorded in winter, released summer 2019. And it just sort of clicked, you know? And once we started doing the original music thing, that's when you can viably start selling the product and it goes somewhere, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah,
unless you want to be a cover band, which is not really what I want to do. You know what I mean? I want to do an original project that's my own thing. And I've always loved reggae, and it just sort of clicked in terms of everything for that. So, and I've done a good amount of touring, and I've sort of seen some of the models that people do and the success of certain artists and whatever. And I just, I just want to do my own thing, and it's SunDub right now.
that's cool.
Yeah.
And you have a second album. Was that just released recently, or is that kind of just within a year or so? Spirits Eat Music.
Yes. So it's about a year old. We
Okay.
released Spirits Eat Music in November 2022. And so, yeah, it's coming up on a year here. It's our second album. We released it with Easy Star Records, which is an amazing reggae record label based here in New York. And yeah, it's our second album.
Yeah, and you said that it was important to you to do originals over covers. And I talked to a lot of musicians, and a lot of them are original artists. They
Yeah.
that's their focus. That's their passion. Was there something like what it was something about original versus a cover band that was like just that's what you needed to do?
I mean, everyone in the band is a writer, I guess you could say, writes their own music and is creative in that way. And we do make a lot of space for that kind of collaboration within SunDub, and that is one of the aspects that makes it great and makes it what it is the collaboration in the studio and writing the songs and on a lot of levels. Um, and yeah, just original music is the most fulfilling expression, in my opinion. Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
it's yours. Like
what are you gonna do? Go out and record? I mean, people do record cover songs and go out and sell that, but like, I don't know, like logistically, that's difficult. Like, I'd rather own my, you know, own music. This is our music. We go out, we make it. We have creative control. That is the musician thing. You know what I mean? If I mean, in my opinion,
Well, no, I mean,
really.
yeah, you say it's yours. It's like no one could take that from you. It's like there's a lot of pride there, right? And as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
someone who's creative, and if you had that ability, like why let it go to waste?
Oh yeah, and that is the magic of SunDub, of course. Like we would not be what we are if we were just playing other people's songs. We enjoy playing some covers in the set, like we'll play some covers at River Street Jazz Festival, and especially if it's a new crowd, and who knows, we don't know how much they know about SunDub or reggae in general or whatever. So it's always good to, link it in via that.
Well, bro, after this podcast releases, everyone's gonna know who SunDub is.
Woo! Let's go, man. So excited.
One day I'll have that power. One
Woo!
day. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
get you 5 listeners. I'll introduce you to my 5 listeners. So again, thanks for taking the time.
no worry.
Hopefully, I have more than five. Ben wouldn't, you know, push in the wrong direction. But he also mentioned too, like you guys started like playing local bars. Like, how important are those local venues? To kind of give people that start, that place to kind of experiment and get in front of different audiences and work on new material and kind of um just kind of introduce all that. Like it's important, right?
Yeah, definitely is.
Is there
100%.
like a place in Brooklyn that you're like, that's like, hey, we got our start here?
I mean, we got our start in Brooklyn playing at some of the local spots around that some of them aren't even open anymore. And we played a bunch at Brooklyn Bowl in Brooklyn, New York, which is one of our favorite venues, one of the best venues in New York for sure. In terms of, in all ways, but especially in terms of, supporting the local scene as well as the national touring artists and stuff. That's a big one in terms of exposure for us, I guess you could say. Open for a good amount of bigger reggae artists there and so on.
Well, they always say that every national act was once a local act, so it's
Yeah,
important to support
yeah,
the bands when
100%.
they're yeah, it's cool. I've been around in the local music scene for a long time. I've just been drawn to music. I love music. I can't perform it. Um, so this is kind of my way to kind of be involved continuously. I used to work for an entertainment newspaper and I worked in radio for a while. So this enables me to kind of uh, you know, keep being a part of, bands' lives, which has been a lot of fun and a lot of, very cool.
Yeah, man, definitely.
But your website says that your music and community rallies around the concept that we are the strongest when people of different backgrounds work together to create positive change.
Hmm.
And that's probably very common in reggae and in music, probably in general,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? As
Yeah.
as a country now,
Yeah.
like where do you feel we're at? I feel like we've never been, and I'm not trying to get political, so it's not a political question. I don't want to get into politics.
Yeah.
Um, but like as a country, I feel like we're more divided now than we've ever been before.
Yeah. I would definitely agree.
How does SunDub bridge the gap?
Um, how does SunDub bridge the gap? I mean, SunDub definitely speaks up for what we believe in. We say that in our songs. In fact, that's like that is one of the lines in our songs, fight for what you believe in. Um, so I think that's really important, in terms of just like bridging the gap is like discussing, fight for what you believe in, bridge that gap. If you believe in something, voice that opinion
Yeah,
and do the best you can to make other people understand and have that conversation with you. So there's, try to bridge the gap. Um, SunDub is a band that has like a variance of different people in the band in terms of men, women, white people, people from Jamaica, people from Haiti, um, people who are in their 30s, people who are in their 50s, people who are in their 40s, like we're bridging the gap, in that way as
yeah,
well. And that's not to be taken for granted.
not at all.
Take for that for granted at all, that is like a living example of, what we're all talking about
Yeah,
here. And
exactly.
it can be overlooked almost in a way, but it's super important to see that, especially within this music, like Joanna, my sister, lead singer of SunDub, is a white woman. We're singing music that is like from a country that's, you know,
Yeah,
uh, people with much darker skin than our sister, so that's a question too that like people that comes up within our situation.
okay,
And that we're bridging the gaps in terms of all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like I said, we're a band that's multi-racial, gender, all that.
cultural, yeah, everything.
Yeah, multicultural band. So
That's all. I feel like we live in a world where everything's read via text. You know, you read text on a screen, on
Yeah.
social media, even text to your friends and family. Um, and it's such a poor way to communicate. There's
Yeah.
no tone involved. There's no cadence. There's no it's just words on a screen. And I can get a text from my wife at 8 in the morning. And depending on the morning that we're having, like whether the kids are if we're late for school or whatever it might be, or if we got less sleep than usual, or if we're at work and it's a bad day at work, I could read that text at that moment, and then I could read it 3 hours later and be in a different headspace and read that same text in a different way.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I feel like our communication is poor. And I think with music and shows and being in that room together and the music and the vibes and all that, it's such a great way to show how similar we are
Yeah.
and just everything that is involved. It's just like there's no better way than being present and being face to face and being all those things.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I hope that we can continue to put down our phones and screens and shit like that and just talk to each other. Like I wish you and I were face to face right now. I wish at a
Yeah.
studio, and there's no better way to have a conversation. This is okay,
Yeah.
but there might
Oh,
be a little delay. you know if you really wanted to, you could tell me to fuck off, and what am I gonna do to you? Nothing, because you're in Brooklyn and I'm here.
yeah, dude.
you know
Nothing. Yeah.
but
Yeah, man. No, I agree. And music is definitely a good way to like get out of that text
yeah, it's
headline.
powerful.
It's like headline sort of culture too, is the way I think about it. It's like just one blurb that like you probably don't even want to read. It's just a short little snippet of information. But yeah, music, going to shows, that's definitely a more engaging way to, you know, it's more of an experience to sink into a show than read a couple words. So yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, what can people expect from a SunDub show? If people are watching right now and they're like, you know what, I want to go to the Jazz Cafe on Friday the 13th of October to see
Yeah.
SunDub. What could I expect?
People can literally expect a seven-piece reggae band from Brooklyn, New York, female fronted, playing original music. We're going to be playing all evening long, and we're going to bring a party. It's going to be a lot of fun. Our shows are a lot of fun. Um, we are, excited to bring reggae to the area and not sure how much there is there. So if you haven't really heard a ton of reggae or are curious about reggae or just love music in general, our show will appeal to anyone, young, old, everyone is good at the SunDub show. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. And
Off the top of your head, if someone was listening to this or watching this and hey, I want to check out a few songs from SunDub,
yeah,
are there certain songs I should go to? Like, hey, these are the highlights. Start with these and then dig in further.
sure. Sure. So I will say check out our new album Spirits Eat Music, which we were talking about earlier. That's our newest album of all original music. You can check out the track Spirits Eat Music from that record. That would be my first recommendation. My second recommendation from the SunDub catalog would be Jolene, which is a cover of Jolene by Dolly Parton. This is a new
Whoa.
release in
Okay.
collaboration with our very good friend Cass Haley. So check out Jolene. That's recommendation two. And then number three, I would say check out Close to Me, which is the lead single off our first album, Burden of Love. So, and check out all those songs. You can check them out at sundubmusic.com. You can check them out on Spotify, Apple Music, all of the music streaming platforms, Instagram, SunDub Music. Facebook, SunDub Music, all one word. We're everywhere with all of those things, as everyone should be. So
Right.
yeah, we're out there.
How do you well, I've listened to this song, but the idea of doing a reggae version of Jolene,
Yeah.
I mean, where did the thought of that come from?
So again, this is a song that we did in collaboration with our good friend Cass Haley, who's a reggae singer-songwriter. He's based in North Texas. He's a really good friend of ours. He's an amazing artist, songwriter, singer, performer, family man. And he just released a new album called Boots Rock Reggae Volume 1. And this is an album that takes country songs and flips them reggae style. And it's an amazing project. He thought of this. He's a big fan of the genre, and it works perfectly, honestly. Like, there's a lot of crossover between the genres and a lot of ways if you sort of just look at it musically.
Mhm.
And in terms of the content of country and reggae, it's like story based songs in a lot of sense. So it's a really great project. And Dolly Parton, legendary. I mean, the artists in country are legendary. The songs are legendary. That's sort of a no-brainer. And big shout out to Cass.
Yeah, that's cool. It was very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. I was like, as a planet, I was like, wow, this is Jolene.
It makes sense. It makes sense. He did a
Hmm.
great job on the production. I mean, his band is dope. Shout out to all those guys. His son is on bass. I mean, yeah, check out Cass Haley.
Very cool. I'll write that
Yeah,
down too. Cass Haley.
yeah, yeah. He's the man.
So it's October. We're recording this a little over a week before your show at the Jazz Cafe on October 13th, Friday the 13th. So the year is essentially three-quarters of the way over,
Hmm,
which is crazy to think about,
indeed.
right? Like, where does the time go?
That's like over in my book. It's crazy. I gotta enjoy the
We're
moment.
we're gonna blink. It's gonna be Christmas, dude.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
how it
bad.
goes.
It's
Yeah,
so bad. It's
yeah,
so so
really.
bad. I mean, as far as well, outside of the Jazz Cafe show on
Yeah.
Friday, the 13th of October, what do you guys have lined up to kind of close out the year?
So we're embarking on our fall tour basically this upcoming weekend, including the Jazz Cafe. Oh, it's next weekend. Is the beginning of our fall tour, and we have approximately a dozen dates, sort of through the end of the year, and they're mostly in the Northeast region, and we're really excited to come back and play a lot of these places. Vermont, Boston, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. And yeah, we're doing a really big show here in Brooklyn later in October, which is really exciting. Opening up for a Cultura Profetica, which is a band from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So that's going to be a huge show here in Brooklyn. And yeah, we're excited to finish out the year and get into the next, you know?
Start all over. A little reset button.
Yeah.
January 2024. Do you guys have like a favorite venue or favorite city or state to play in?
I would say favorite venue is the Brooklyn Bowl. Again, it's like our home venue in Brooklyn. We played there a lot of times and they support us heavily. So I would say Brooklyn Bowl is definitely one of our favorite venues. And then in terms of states, other than New York to play in, which we just play in a lot, we of course love New York. It's where we're from. But we were in Florida earlier this year in February, and Florida has a great music scene, a lot of love for reggae. Um, so we're looking forward to getting back down to the southeast as well and revisiting some of those spots down there. Got a lot of requests from fans to come back down. So we're ready to get back down there and get out of the cold, I mean,
Yeah, it's miserable.
yeah.
I'm predicting now we're gonna have a terrible winter. For Dude.
Last year was nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not zero. Like I think
Yeah,
I
we
don't
already
I didn't even shovel last winter. Not
like
once.
yeah. I mean, yeah, things are crazy and extreme, so it's either gonna be nothing or like record-setting destruction.
I hope for the first. I don't want I hate snow. I feel
Yeah.
bad because my kids like all last year, last winter, he just wanted to build a snowman. And secretly I'm like, oh dude, I'm sorry, but I wish we really could, but in my head I'm like, fuck yeah, like, there's no snow.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say, but
Yeah.
it's better for touring without snow. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, but it's also you're not breaking your back shoveling snow and ugh.
Yeah, but also the earth. It's better to have the earth for touring than to not.
Yes. But now it's funny because I don't know if they're bad where you are, but the spotted lantern flies are
They're,
very, very bad
yeah, they're
where
out.
we are.
They're, yep.
And they're saying that they're very bad because we didn't have a very cold, snowy winter. And I was like, holy shit, maybe that there's something to that. Maybe we didn't have those very cold days and those very snowy grounds. And it's amazing to think about how important it is to have those seasons.
Oh yeah, very important for all the
Everything, right?
things.
You don't think about it, right? Like, it's like, especially when you're a kid. Like I mean, even 5 years ago, I wouldn't think about that. But now that I'm an old man, I guess it's like, oh shit, like
No,
that's
yeah,
a problem.
yeah. You don't think about it until it's staring you in the face, basically, and then it's more apparent. It's like, oh, that does matter.
Yeah, it makes sense too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
We could talk about climate change all day, right?
We could.
But who wants to do that?
No,
Nobody
it's not
cares.
me.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I care, but I don't want to
You
talk about
care, right? Yeah, it's
it.
like it's
Yeah, it's
just
not
like
that I don't care. I just don't want to talk
yeah,
about it more than we have. We got,
yeah.
that's great.
I'm not even smart enough to talk about it. So
No, yeah. I could just see shit and be like, oh, there was no winter last year, huh?
yeah. But to talk about 2024, I mean, do you guys have big plans for next year? Are they kind of still kind of formulating? I know I talked to just a band earlier last week. They're doing a big tour in the UK in the spring.
Yeah.
You guys have things lined up, or where are you guys at?
I wish I could say we have a big tour in the UK. We unfortunately don't at this point, but we will be doing a lot of touring in 2024. We'll be releasing new music for sure. Um, we'll be getting back down to Florida. We'll be getting over to the West Coast. So just more of SunDub and more of what we've been doing. Yeah.
And, and the name, I love that. The more you say it, the more I like it. The SunDub, like where does that come from?
To be honest, it's like not the most interesting Genesis story ever, but we
Mhm.
used to be on Sunday. And dub, I don't know how familiar you are with dub, but it's like a subgenre of reggae, basically.
Okay,
Dub reggae.
okay.
So sun dub, but it totally fits. It's just yeah, it's like a nice well sun dub.
Well, I like that. I like I mean it's funny too because band names are either like really there's a cool story behind it or there's just a basic story. But
Yeah.
the more you say it, the more I like it.
Yeah. It's less about how it started and more what it like represents and what it's grown into, of
Hell
course.
yeah. Hell
Yeah.
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 Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'll be there, but I'm excited for your show on Friday the 13th of October at
Indeed.
the River Street Jazz Cafe.
I'm excited to be there. Hope you are there. If not, thanks for helping us spread the word.
I I I always get invited by Ben because he's always like, "Thanks for helping out. Like, you guys just come check out the show." And I got 2 kids and a wife, and it's just like it's hard to get out sometimes. I wish I was
Oh, I feel you.
a little younger and I can go to all the shows, but
Amen.
I love the vibe. I love the music's great.
Thank you.
I wish you guys a ton of success. I don't know how old you are. I don't know how old the members. Well, you said there's a variety of age
Yeah,
uh ranges. Um, you said there's new music on the horizon. This will be
definitely.
my last question. I mean, I grew up with albums, right? Like I went to the
Yep.
record store. I bought CDs. I know records are big now. I don't care for records, but unfortunately, I don't even buy CDs anymore because I had a big problem. I would spend $200 a month on CDs on stuff. I would just go there just to buy something. I didn't care. I would just buy it based on the album cover or whatever it was. It wasn't financially responsible. So now I'm a subscriber to Spotify and Apple. Um, but what I'm getting at is we're a singles based consumer.
Yeah,
Um, I don't love the idea, but it is what it is. I do love the fact that we can get more music, or I say more, but music more often from our favorite artists rather than waiting 2 years for a new album.
yeah,
Um, I always talk about how albums are kind of written or were written to be listened to from
yeah,
song 1 through 10 or 1 through 12.
yep.
Feelings on that, as far as maybe from your genre standpoint or from an age standpoint. What are your thoughts on having to release singles versus albums, and all that kind of shit?
Yeah. I mean, the album, in terms of creatively, how we tend to create our music, it is in a body of work that is like an album,
Mhm.
usually. We've released two albums. It also is logistically sort of the way that it's works for us in terms of just getting into the studio and recording, you know, a certain amount of songs to, get the most out of the session and have content to release. So I love the album thing. And in terms of the singles, it is what it is. It plays into the short text message vibe of like people can't consume anything at a long rate anymore, really, which is not true, but that's just how everything has evolved. So, singles, yeah, you got singles are an opportunity to have multiple marketing. That's how I think about it. It's multiple marketing opportunities. It's like, okay, I have an album, and within this album marketing strategy, I have three individual singles that will also have their own marketing behind them. And that will be the three-legged octopus of this album, you know?
Content.
Yeah. And that's how it is. And so that's how we do it because we do it by the rules as much as possible until they change, which they change all the time. But
Every day.
yeah, so it is what it is. And then reggae as a genre has sort of some niche kind of tendencies in terms of like vinyl and different versions of songs and singles and all this stuff. So then there's sort of that element, which is unique. And I don't need to really get into the specifics of that, but
Yeah.
um it all is, I mean, yeah, I think about it like products on the shelf, sort of.
Yeah.
That makes
It's
sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I want to
Well,
make I
well,
love
it's just
music.
yeah, which is one of those things too. Is like as the guy who handles social media and things like that too. It's like you got to be conscious of all that stuff
Yeah,
too, and it's just like it's a lot,
yeah,
man. It's a lot. It's
it is.
a lot of hats that bands wear.
Yeah.
It's not like I said
Oh
before. It's
yeah.
not just music, but
Last thing I'll say in terms of the album thing is like people aren't going to buy singles at your show. How do you do
right,
that? What are you going to
right.
do? Sell a CD with one track on it, a vinyl with I mean a vinyl with one track on it if they're that into that,
That'd be
which is like
insane.
unique, whatever. People will buy albums.
Mhm.
People will buy CDs. People will buy vinyl. So that's also viable. Even though nobody has a record player. Well, maybe they do, but no one has a CD player unless it's like built into their fridge from 1982 or whatever. Like, no one has that anymore. Or their Toyota Corolla from whenever. Like,
Yeah, I honestly like. Yeah,
but they still buy it,
yeah,
and it's like a 10x return.
sure, yeah.
CD,
So
they're like $1.
it's
So
important. It's
thank you
important.
guys.
Yes. Yeah, I think about it now. I literally I have a ton of CDs. I do not have a single CD player in my home
Yeah.
or in either one of my vehicles. Crazy.
Yeah, man. Well, people want to support too, so they'll buy a CD if it's 10, 15
Hell
bucks.
yeah.
We'll
Hell
sign
yeah.
it, and maybe like it'll become cool again.
Hell yeah. Well, CDs are gonna come back, I'm telling you. Just
Of
like vinyl did.
course.
It all comes back. It's all cyclical.
Of course.
But Ben, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Check out SunDub. There's a show on Friday the 13th, spooky season, River Street Jazz Cafe in Plains.
Indeed.
Great venue. Um, songs are awesome. It's gonna be a good time. So hopefully I'll be there. But if not, I hope you guys kill it.
Thank
Uh,
you, John.
it's a great venue for you guys. I think you'll do well. And best of luck with everything. I mean, it's a tough landscape to navigate these days, and kudos to all those people who can do it full time and just keep pushing and just keep hustling and creating stuff that they love to do. So, congrats on all that, and best of luck.
Appreciate it, John. Thank you so much for
All
having
right,
us.
take care, buddy.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you.